That was a warm up. That was a warm up. Yes. Yeah. Moving in just fortress like it's NOIA. I don't even need the army. Why? Yeah. Yeah. Protected on my street, I know. Whoa. Whoa. Violence is so rampant though. Oh.
We back at it again. Part 2. Lozart, like, share, and subscribe. This is Lozart's frame of thought. That was me in the intro of the video. It's one of my old school videos. Just going around my old school neighborhoods and stuff like that. Places where I grew up at. Lozart, like, share, subscribe. I want to build this channel, man. You know, we're going to continuously do these videos. Like I said, it's not only helpful to myself, it's helpful to so many. Like I've always been. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was always one of those people that, thought that, life should be about people, all right? So I spent a good majority of my time, not selfishly, but I spent a good majority of my time assisting people, you know? And so that's why I think that this Jeezy conversation is really on time right now. You know, not to exploit someone's misgivings. No, no. Anybody that knows me know that we're more mature than that. I think we want to have a conversation though. The conversation needed to be had at this point. And so, shout out to the good sister Riva TV. She's dope. I'll be checking out a lot of her commentaries. Um, only because, like, as the old saying goes, real recognize real. I'll just put it at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing like too deep because I don't know the young lady and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, like, she be on point. I can't say I agree 1,000% with anyone. Not anyone breathing air on this side of the earth. I'm human. Everyone else is human. So I have my own opinion on things. I have my own way of thinking about things. However, when someone is, like really giving a word, if anybody been to a black church, you know what I'm saying, somebody with a handkerchief will throw the handkerchief up in the air, or they're gonna give them an air clap, an air high five or something like that. Or, you know what I'm saying, if you just moving throughout the town or something like that, you know what I'm saying, like you were like, all right, they cool, you'll give them a head nod, you know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing really more than that. However, we do have to get into some of the understanding now. Um, Full disclaimer, full transparency. I just saw this video pop up, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, look, I know that she was, previously covering the Gigi Jenny Mine circumstance. I mean, it's everyone is, you know what I'm saying? If you're covering the news, not entertainment news, but you find a way to bring entertainment into a case study or a teachable lesson. That's what we're doing here. I think that's what a lot of content creators that have a good sense of life are doing. Make an honest buck doing something that's good. That's real. But we want to jump into this video really well. I think that is something that we want to jump into because I think once we get into the conversation of what the young lady is going to present. Shout out to Ruby TV again one more time. Um, Her perspective, then we still have to look at the circumstance in terms of Jeezy, his perspective. Okay. We're not excluding in any way. I don't believe that it's necessary to exclude anyone's part because literally it's in terms of any circumstance is usually, It's going to be varying viewpoints on the same circumstance. And you have to give the people that. You know what I'm saying? You have to give the people the understanding that, I saw things from my personal point of view, you know. And I think that's what Jeezy does. I think Jeannie Mai was in the public eye, especially within um, the group, the following that she has publicly. And so, of course, she was always vocal about this or that, but not really saying much. I think we're going to get down to the nitty gritty with things right here. But let's jump into it though.
Child, I'm not 100% of the dynamics, but this is well before any talks of any divorce had ensued.
I didn't notice that I had a hot temper until I got with Jeezy. And here's a person who is my equal and I really respect. And when I would spew some of my old habits, and he was like, like that's not flying here. And also, it would trigger him to come back at me with things where I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? But I was triggering him. So through work, we learned that we both have certain habits that to the everyday person, from friends, family, fans, they'll never see it. Mm-hmm. But to the person who loves us deep enough, you can press that button and boom, the dragon comes out. Unless I want to stay in this place where I lose this person I love and I stay in my comfort zone of doing what I want to do and function the way I have for the last 40 years where nobody else had to stop me. But this was something greater that I wanted, and also a great challenge to myself to say, what if, now that I know it exists and the dragon's there, what if I got rid of that? How do I kill that dragon or store it in its place so that it never creates havoc in my life? I don't want somebody who doesn't change. I want you to change and grow, if it means growing into an even better version of what I fell in love with.
Y'all heard that?
Look, I want to jump in very briefly, right before River does her thing. Yeah, like you said, y'all heard that. I mean, there's a lot of things I would say within that portion of information given. I think that for the most part, there is a real time realization in regards to personal behavior, right? Okay. And so with that being the case, there still has to be some element of glossing over it to continue in that sense, to continue in that on that path, right? So a lot of times it's blaming, like let's think about it. If any tyrant in history, all the big ones, you know what I'm saying? Any tyrant in history, Alexander the Great, Stalin, who else? Who else we got? It's a bunch of them, right? Hitler, right? So if there's anyone that is looking to follow that path, I saw some on I saw something on Netflix the other day. They're talking about how to be a tyrant. I'm saying like they trying to get people like know how to know. They was going through history. Like I watched some of those historical documentaries and stuff like that. But then like the spin that it's like, what is going on here? You know what I'm saying? But it was the information was still interesting. But think about it like this, and we're going to use that as a narration, as an example to narrate what we're about to say right now. If you want to be a tyrant, and let's say if you want to be a tyrant within your marriage, basically all you do is do whatever that you want to do. You can have moments where you're feeling better, where you don't do as bad things, right? And I'm not necessarily talking about, for men or for women. I'm talking about this particular person in a marriage and they know who they are. So, but they're always bad. They're always disrespectful. They're always trying to whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's just their default system. It's how they even show love. Even if that's not how you was shown love. I'm talking about as a young man coming up, like, you seen love, like it probably may have been fragmented from, various areas coming from areas, you know what I'm saying? Like your sister, your mom, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. But when you are dealing with someone who, maybe understand that a little bit, then you feel as if that you don't need to explain as much. But when that person is just willingly doing whatever they want to do, because they feel it as if that's what they want to do, and they feel as if that's what they're going to do, then they're disregarding themselves. There's no respect. And at the very same fact, they're creating mischief around you. So if it's a woman, she's creating it around that man that she's married to. And she's going to continuously do that because she thinks that is her way to stay connected and bonded. It is totally psycho, and I think that people need help. But this is what Jenny Mai sounds like to me. You know, she sounds like a person that was going to do what she wanted to do. And as she stated, when Jesus responded in a certain type of way, because he probably seen that in a woman that he met before, Jesus, as we're going to get into this a little bit more, his mother, his mother presented certain challenges to him as a young black man. And this is the story so many times for the most determined men out here. A lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the times. Not saying that women are bad or nothing like that, but that's the first love that a young man has. And so if he's interacting with women, with his mother and his grandmother on a certain level, then he's interacting with people in school and, of course, got charisma and cool, but you're still interacting with the young ladies at your school. You're just looking and observing. I don't think that a lot of women think that men are observant. Like masculine, straight men, are observant. How do you think that they can be in the middle of warfare and still, stay alive and come back home to, their family? You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I think tomorrow's Veterans Day, and, my father's a veteran, so shout out to Pops. Let's get back into this video, though, man. It's a lot. Let's go.
Did you hear it? Because, I could have just played the audio, but I think that you needed to visually see this person talking about this situation. This does not mean that there was not other problems that they had in their relationship, of course. This does not mean that, she's the only person to blame or the only person that's at fault, or, it does not mean that. Again, they both got into a relationship. They both made a decision. I'm sure they both had things that they could have worked on. But that's what marriage is. Two people working on things to grow together. It's always going to be like that. It's always going to be somebody bringing their stuff, the other person bringing their stuff, and you guys figure out how to make it work together. That's what marriage is. It's not two perfect people getting together and being more perfect. That's where the delusion comes from. That's why there's so much divorce, because you think that it's two perfect people coming together and just expanding on the perfection, and that's not reality. It's two imperfect people getting together, building, growing, working to become the best versions of themselves. This person being a mirror and showing you your innermost faults that you can work on and grow, and vice versa.
Let's pause right there, just for 1 second. And River's spitting right now. She's doing her thing. We have to be honest with ourselves, even in relationships. We have to be honest with ourselves, just period, in life. You know what I'm saying? Just naturally so, right? Just commonly so. We have to be aware of who we are, where we at, what we doing, how we're gonna get to where we're trying to go, especially if we're men. Women as well, I would assume. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more so of how they're going to get there, and then get there in the level of comfort. That could be my opinion. I could be wrong. Jump down in the comments and come from me if you like. I'm joking. But no, what I'm saying though is that, like, I think that, of course, is that level of, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And so a man wants to attempt to solve problems and fix things. And so earlier in this River TV video, I think she mentioned that she was going through some comments, and one of the commenters mentioned that was a trauma bond for Jeezy and Jenny Mai. And it could have been, but and I'm just paraphrasing here, because I don't want to speak for anyone, but Reva mentioned that, again, sometimes people can go into circumstances and just have commonalities and feel a kinship with someone, they twin, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, they close to them like that. Just off of knowing them for, maybe even a short period of time. Sometimes that chemistry can be instantaneous, And so you chilling with that person and you don't know that you're trauma bonding. That's what the young lady was mentioning. And I was thinking about that, like, man, that does make sense, especially for young men. Let's say if they're accustomed to a certain level of love being shown from their mother, good or bad, because it affects everyone. You never know what you're getting until you see the finished product, really. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I be praying on my kids all the time. I'm joking. But no, for real though, you never really know what you're going to get with children until you see the finished product. Because you can put good things in them and they cannot listen to you because they're looking at your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is not representing what you're telling them. So they know not to trust an adult like that person. That's what kids learn early. You know. Or you are in a position where you are standing on your word. Even children know that life is unpredictable. They know that from the first, and especially if you live in Chicago, the seasons change every few weeks, right? And so with that being the case, children know, okay, it's cool, keep them in, just what, a kid will wear, just chilling in the summertime and then put something on them when it's wintertime, you know what I'm saying? Just to, bundle them up, that's what I'm saying, right? Speaking to the parents, right? Shout out to the parents. But no, for real though, that's what I'm trying to say, just to use that analogy. You have to equip them and you hopefully, so they know that things going to change, over time. They're learning that as they grow and their limbs are starting to ache a bit as they're growing and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So growing pains is what they call it, right? So all I'm saying though is that within everything that we do, we have to be mindful about the children, but then again, at the very same time, since they are accustomed to things, evolving and things like that for most children, one thing that does never, I said does never, that doesn't or never evolves, right? Is a memory, especially if you have a good memory. You remember all of that. Let's jump back into this video.
Interview that Jeezy did, he clearly said they reached a peak where she was no longer willing to work on these aspects.
Oh,
while he was.
oh,
They went to therapy and it still was not working.
oh.
You hear it from her mouth. She said, unless I want to lose my man, I got to check myself.
Oh.
Unless I want to ruin my marriage, I got to check myself.
Oh.
Unless I want to, chuck the deuce and be here by myself, I got to check myself.
That's real.
And somehow women are still hearing, oh, well, it had to be him. She literally said he was coming back. Listen, I'm trying to break this down so you guys can really understand. For real. Because I don't want it to go over your head. Because I want it to penetrate. So you can really understand the magnitude of this situation and why I'm covering it. So many everyday people go through things in their relationships and can learn from this. This is one of the main reasons why relationships do not work out. A lot of women don't know how to tame their tongue. A lot of women don't know how to effectively communicate when they're upset. A lot of women don't know how to respectfully disagree. And there can be a lot of things that end up, causing the demise of the relationship. But at its core, when we look at the origination of where the problems in the relationships are stemming from, we can almost always bet our money on the respect portion. She said, I was triggering him. And once I started to trigger him, we heard him talk about it in his interview with Neil Long, where he said his mother was, she didn't love him. She didn't treat him with respect. He had went through a lot as a child. He had no voice. He witnessed so many different things. He had a hurt inside. And where did that hurt come from? The first woman who was supposed to love him. So she would disrespect him and trigger him. And in his trigger, he would respond. That was.
Let's pause right there for 1 second. It's one thing that I want to touch upon. This Vietnamese woman. Now he chose this woman to be his wife. She's a beautiful lady. They have a beautiful child together. She's not necessarily considered of the African culture. Okay. Be it that everyone is from Africa, she may be, down the line has some nigga up in it. But what I'm saying, all I'm saying, all I'm saying, all I'm saying is that she wouldn't be considered like a black American or a black African or a black Caribbean, a black Frenchman, or she wouldn't be considered that, right? But she has nonetheless the understanding, as it was stated, or it can be interpreted to be stated, that if they had some level of a disagreement, then your mama jokes or your mama backlash was something that was ever present. Where did she learn this from, guys? Let's put this all together. No, let's be honest. Come on. Where did she learn this from? And so, with that being the case, we got to be honest. I'm talking about from a man point of view. Even if you're dealing with someone that you really care about, it's and she's not like a black woman, or she's not your sister, she's not somebody you really close to, or whatever. Only so much you can take before you're like, I'm good, you know. And if that was someone that was just not knowing how to be around you fully, and they still wanted your attention somehow, they just pushed you away. They just repelled you as a man. You're like, nah, I'm good. Like, it's a lot going on right there, you know. And so, I mean, there are ways where it could be done where a man is like, just gravitate towards a woman. And y'all women know that because, like, most people think, like, if a man, look at a woman and get the sex on the brain, now his brain shuts off. Most men, it happens all the time. Some men have a little bit more discipline, you know what I'm saying, in the sense of how to maintain the, the interactions. And so, because you need that anyway to be successful, just read the, Proverbs, Book of Solomon, read something about Solomon. Anyway, back on topic though. When you're dealing with someone that is not willing to be under your rule, then you can't cover them. It's hard to even protect them because when you say be at home before 2 a.m., even if they at their mother's house, you have to be at home before 2 a.m. because whatever's going on over there is going to be harder for someone to come and protect you at that time. Just be at home. And if someone is defiant to that, then you have to understand, like, hey, well, it is what it is because I titled the last video, they can't ban the Snowman. Yet at 46, he now chooses peace. Jeezy woke up with violence on his mind every day, right? He now chooses peace. And, some people are not peaceful.
Was not conducive to the positive space of their relationship. But what started that? Her triggering him. She said, let me tame this dragon so that it does not come up and cause any more issues in my life. That was the biggest problem. Because instead of taming the dragon, you should have eliminated the dragon. A lot of women, they don't eliminate the problems that they have in their relationship. They tame it for a little bit, for as long as they feel like they can, because it's comfortable for them. They're used to it. It's normal to hold on to their traumas. Feel of becoming a brand new person. They hold on to it. The problem is that when you don't eliminate it and you still hold on to it, it shows its head again. Because whenever you get to a space that you're comfortable or, you're in a common situation, that's a normal response that comes out of you. So it's going to come back out. Unless it's eliminated. And elimination is not impossible. Only if you think it is. Listen. Women lose their husbands every day. Okay? And I don't mean that he's out the house. I mean emotionally. The connection is gone. He don't look at you the same. Why don't you compliment me? Why don't you walk past? You don't call me beautiful. You don't tell me you love me. You don't do these things because you don't respect me. When I see you, all I see is the word disrespect on your forehead. That beauty that I once saw is faded. The connection we once had is lost. Because when I see you, I just see stress and disrespect. I can go to the grocery store or the bank and get more respect from a woman I don't know than the woman that's in my household. And you don't know how detrimental that is to a man until something like this happens and he possibly leaves you. This comment said his wife displayed traits of his mother, which triggered him. I would imagine writing that book made him feel vulnerable and his wife just poured salt in his wound. I pray they both receive healing. I do too. I really, really pray that, they both receive healing and that she grows from this. Because you have two spaces. You can either grow from this or revert back to your ways and say, see, that's why these men ain't this and these men ain't that. And then just keep yourself in delusion, keep lying to yourself, keep numbing yourself, keep, absolving yourself of accountability and just be stuck in your ways and just stay on the hamster wheel. Or you can grow and achieve positive results from your growth. Next one said Jeezy and Jeannie trauma bonded. Both have dark pasts with their mothers growing up. That is not a successful formula for a long marriage, and their traumas will tend to rear their ugly head. Jeannie admitted to having anger issues like her mom. I know Jeezy didn't marry a non-black woman only to deal with the same BS he got from his mother. This is another.
Didn't I say that? Like, for real though. No. I wasn't even listening to her words like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I said that because it's just real. That's facts.
Thing that I think is very interesting too. I definitely agree that people can trauma bond and not know, right? And what I mean by that is that they've had this connection with each other where they have this feeling of similarity. But I think it also goes to show, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I think it also goes to show that you can resonate and you can have a certain level of understanding with each other, but then still at that same time, you say like, oh, I understand him because his mom treated him like this and my mom treated me like this. But then when you turn around and you treat him in that same manner that you said that you understand, it makes it worse. Because
So you were saying that you feel like we can't connect because we're doing too much time fighting each other for the relationship,
or fighting for love and understanding and commitment and compassion. But it starts with men feeling, comfortable enough to be vulnerable and open. And that's a hard thing to ask a man to do because we were not conditioned that way. A lot of us weren't raised that way. It can be considered a sign of weakness in the same way that therapy is considered a sign of weakness. We're talking about your experiences and my experiences. We have more in common than we probably ever thought we did. Right. And so to me, that makes me feel this sense of urgency to have this conversation with you, but also there's a hopefulness. There's a hopefulness that if we actually each do the work, we can actually come together because there's nothing more important to me than Black people. We are the greatness in every room. We are the ones who set it off and make it happen. We are the ones that create the culture. We are the artists. We are the artistes. We are the voices that lead the masses. But what
let's pause that real quick. My bad, I was on mute. Let's pause that for the good sister Nia Long. And I was just thinking, like, man, how can anybody come for Nia, man? Like, you know what I'm saying? Not the good sis like that. Not the good sister. You know what I mean? Nia Long is dope. What she mentioned right there was something that was rather important, though. You know, being able to have the conversation with our counterparts. And we can't start the social media thing, and they're only going to flood our social media timelines with the BS. Yeah, talking about Americans, right? You know, so we have to sift through it. I think that's why the dating pool is so degenerate right now, is because you have to sift through it. You know, and uh, it's crazy to say everything fast and on demand. Like you can order something from your phone app. You can, you know what I'm saying? Like, so wait around and create a family, build something. No, it's supposed to be instantaneous, even in a massive recession that, you know, the world has never seen before. So people have to be realistic. That's one. But then again, the good sister, Nia Long, you know, really was given, you know, that, man, like, this is what men look for. They look for that energy with them women. You know what I'm saying? She got kids, like Nia got kids. You know what I'm saying? I would say, I mean, that doesn't automatically restrict a woman from access, you know, to a good man. It does matter though. I be seeing some women talking about, you know, on these, you know, when they in they dating stages or whatever, you know, talking about men, you know, if you got kids, don't talk to me, like type of thing. You know what a real nigga gonna do off that? Like he just ain't gonna tell you he got kids until he got to. Like stupid. Like I ain't trying to be ignorant or nothing like that. I'm just saying though, like until it actually come up, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a, you know, criteria, I guess. Anyway, let's jump back into this video, man.
Has always hurt me to the core is, why is there this dismantlement of the Black family? Why isn't it that Black men and Black women can't sit like you and I are sitting in a space and have really open dialogues about things and work through the trauma? Because that's the only way we can really, really,
Right.
really be productive.
You said if it couldn't work, then you would leave.
Yes.
Even if there was a
Well-
family, even if there was kids involved.
Look at Jesus being a salesman, car salesman, right there. All right. He was speaking on something. He was trying to make a point. You know what I'm saying? He was talking without saying a lot. But let's get back to, you know what I'm saying, Nia, what she was saying, and then leading into, you know, Jeezy, his point. So definitely, I think that for real, like people, like they have these forums that you'll see on YouTube, and people will pull up at these spaces just to see these people talk because now they're YouTube famous and all that other stuff, and you know, and I still be looking at it like no hatred or nothing like that, but you know what I'm saying, the way I came up, you know what I'm saying, like I understand like a lot of how like people like Jay-Z move. Like I'm not saying he's a good person to follow. I'm just saying that was like one, you know, Hard Knock Life was the shit. You know what I'm saying? Volume 2 is, you know, one of the first albums that I had little money. I went to some, you know, cop that, right? So I've been studying moves ever since, you know what I'm saying? Like since I was a youngin'. But then again, I'm from the city though, so I was shaking and moving at the same time. Anyway. But you know, it's just some of that music which was popping at the time. It gave like elements of the game that, you know, you was either seeing or you didn't see as of yet, or you was gonna come into. Like that's why the hip hop was important, especially when it was closer and closer to its pure stage. Now it's a little bit more stepped on, you know. Since we got Jeezy on the screen, like the music nowadays is a little bit more stepped on. You know, they're trying to make it stretch because like it's all about streams and entertainment, you know, prop guns or like real guns, people getting shot on the video set and stuff like that just to make some news headlines, like just crazy stuff, right? But what Jesus was talking about, like, because that's the life that he lives, so I understand the difficulty of trying to find a woman that'll be on your same page. So We got to take everything into account here. All right. He led a fast life, Jesus. Right. He had to. He didn't know anything other than leading a fast life. He had to figure out how to get things done, not just for him, but for the people that was, coming up after him. You know what I'm saying? The people that he was looking out for, right? So I would assume you find you a woman that, you are concerned with, right? Enough, right? You bring close enough, and you may even really spend good time with. You may feel like, okay, this is what it's supposed to feel like, but that person may just be, again, reminiscent of your mother, how your mother would act. Like for some men, like some men just repelled by their mother because it was just their mother wasn't that one for them, But some people's mothers, even in not the best of moments, still was a mother to them, right? And so you try to look for some of those attributes within the woman, but you don't want that woman to be your mother. No, not at all. It's terrible. You still want to be the man. You don't want nobody telling you to, anything. Some people mothers didn't have that. I mean, some sons didn't have mothers like that. You had to get up and go to school. You had to figure out your own schools. You had to get your own money to get to school. You had to, and we talking about in middle school. Not all the time, but a lot of the time it started then. Junior high, it was a little bit more frequent. High school, it was definitely frequent. Like you had to figure out how to get back and forth to school just to get an education, right? And so, you had to get your own money, basically. You had to figure out somehow to get some money in your pocket. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So I understand Jeezy where you're coming from, So when he's talking about in a marriage, though, he's trying to, develop into this all-around man that he saw himself as. And he is doing that. He's checking off, those things in his list of things to do to be that overall man. And it's not just something that he made up. It's something that older players, didn't already laid down the blueprint before he came through. You know what I'm saying? So most men, people that's going somewhere, they saw a mentor. Hopefully it's coming from a good natured, righteous space, but they had a mentor, someone that gave them the game. In our community, since a lot of the men are not at home with the children, then it's usually a nigga off the block. It's usually, somebody that is a mentor to younger folks in a good natured, like I said, righteous type manner. Just, see that little nigga just struggling, or his mama or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And just looking out for somebody. And that's how it goes. But when you get into a marriage, you have to retrain your thinking, and I had to learn this as well. So he was basically saying, if someone is not willing to make any adjustments, not willing to adjust, not pivot, ain't nobody said anything about a pivot, but you over time have to make adjustments because you're living your life with someone else. And if you start a family, now you got people that's more important than the adults in the circumstance that created it, right? The children are the most important. That's what I'm trying to say, right? And so with that being the case, now you have to, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? You have to think about it from that standpoint. But a man is going to do that, regardless of what's going on or what's been going on in the past. And even when you're doing it on the right level, Jeezy had run-ins with people, this and the third. Like it's always going to be something that's always going to try to retrace his steps of where he's at right now in his present. But when you can just release that, I think that's what, of course he's doing this to sell, I think 2 albums, he said he's releasing, and a book and things like that. So it has some benefit, I would assume. I hope it's not a tell-all. He don't give me that type of vibe. Like he don't do a tell-all. He'll do like a, I don't know, a sci-fi fiction, change the name of the characters and stuff like that, but it'll still be a nuance of the story. I don't know Jesus like that. What I would state though is that with all of that being stated, you have to believe that there's something to think about. Let's get back into the video. Let's get back into it.
If the other person is not willing to do the deep, hard work,
Wow.
then you stay. And when you stay, you have to make yourself smaller to stay.
Whoa.
I
To survive.
1000% agree with you.
Or you may not, I think for a woman, it means you have to make yourself smaller to feel like you're fitting into
Right.
this space with this person who's not ready yet.
Right.
you can still love them, by the way.
Right.
You can still love them. You can still wish them the best. You can still, I mean, you might have moments where you want to cuss somebody out. Like,
Right.
that's normal. Like, we have feelings and emotions, but you can love people right where they are.
Right.
Because to me, that's really a sign of my own personal growth. If you can love the person that hurt you,
Right. But you mean love them from afar?
you love them from afar,
Right.
you wish them well, you bless them on their journey, and you hope that the next time around
Right.
that they have the opportunity to do the work that they do work.
What happens when you're a man and you want nothing more than that, right?
Yeah.
And that's not what you're getting on the other side. And there are kids involved, right? And there's somewhat love there, and you understand that somebody else might have their thing,
Mhm.
but they're not taking this journey with you of healing, because I think love is two people healing together and giving each other
Absolutely.
the space to do so. And the thing for me is, when I went to visit my mother that day, I went to forgive her, but I also went to tell her that I'm going to stand up for little J.
That's right.
Right? The little J that she put in that position. And I think a lot of my healing journey, especially in my real life, had a lot to do with me never standing up to my mother the right way.
That's right.
Which made me be a certain way in real life.
You're kind of all the things.
Right. What's all the things you mean?
I mean, like you're like a cat. You've kind of lived 9 lives.
Yeah.
You've had many
Right.
different versions of
That's
self.
right.
So right now, where are we?
In my life, I wanted to have a family forever.
Yeah.
I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be the
To
person.
get it right.
To get it right. To be right.
Yes.
To do all the things. And when you get in that space and you're letting your inner child down, you're not protecting them, and that's making you shrink in situations like that too.
Men do.
Yes, because if you're not appreciated, if you're met with resistance, if you're
Yes.
met with that inner thing that somebody else has from their thing,
But
that's
to me,
your
that's
kid's hell.
fixable.
You gotta want to do the work.
And I agree.
But you just said clearly
Yeah.
the person doesn't mean you out.
There's an expiration date on everything,
Right.
right? Like, and you got to know when it's time to be done.
Right.
And that's usually not about another person, an affair, or
Uh-huh.
some chick that's willing to like make you feel like a king. Because that's why most men cheat. Most men cheat because
That's fascinating to me.
it's so gross. It's so stupid.
I personally, this is my quote: real
Yeah.
niggas don't cheat.
You don't think so?
Hell no.
I kind of understand.
Let's pause right there. Let's pause right there. I love how the good sister Nia is looking up and to the right there. She trying to figure out what her next thought is. I see her mind working. But no, for real though. You just said something real. Real men don't need to cheat. They know. Like, let's use, in my mind, because how I think about like a man is like when he in his older ages and he's still like, he's silver foxing them up, like, he killing them. He suited up, like I'm from Chicago, so you gotta dress, your shoes gotta be on point, right? It's just how I go, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so whatever era, whatever age that you in, it's just how I go. If you're from Chicago, you know what I'm saying? But like Dr. J, Julius Erving, you know what I'm saying? Like my man had swag, he had style, he was rocking an afro, he was dunking on niggas, he was one of them ones in his era, in the ABA and the NBA, in the late 60s, the 70s, the 80s. He won a championship with the Sixers in the 80s, and that was the Bird, the Johnson era, you know what I'm saying? Like Kareem era, So it was a lot of competition around at that time, you know what I'm saying? But he's an older fella now, and he's smooth. Like you check him out, you know what I'm saying? All his faculties in place, like he's still moving, he's smooth, I don't believe that he would be one of those niggas that feel like he would need to cheat on his wife, on his old lady. Or even back then, I'm not saying people ain't had no issues. They got a family, man. He looked like a family man. That's what I'm trying to say. So there are men who can have options, but still, they just want a family, really. Probably, but then again, as we were talking about the trauma bonding, and as someone mentioned earlier in the post from the first video, that if I guess it depends on how people look at it. I think anybody can work from anywhere if God is involved. But if the woman had issues with her mother and the man had issues with his mother, so to speak, and that's a trauma bond, that's kind of tough because you may not even know that. You may just think that you're chilling with somebody, and then people every 3 years people adjust. They adjust their thing and they adjust because they're getting older. Everyone's getting older, and so that person will have some different things going on with them. After so long, you have to be able to adjust with the person, and that's only if you care enough. So money is not going to keep somebody caring enough. Let's get back to the video.
I understand what you mean when you say that.
They do not.
I understand what you mean when you say
There's
that.
something in us
Yeah.
that makes us want to be right
Yes.
across the board.
But is that so that you are living up to the expectation that you set for yourself, because again, you're going back to your childhood wounds of
Right.
trying to be perfect
Right.
to receive the love from your mom, or is that really where you've landed, that you want to be a man that does things the right way because you want to be honorable
Yes.
and you want to respect the woman that you're with? Because those are two different things.
I want to be honorable.
It's not two different things. In a man's mind, a man compartmentalize things so well. Like, this is this and that is that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And this is useful for this. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're working on something, your working tools, you know what each working tool does specifically for the job that you're working on. But let's go.
And I'm just, anybody that's real, and when I say real, I mean real with yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to hold, there's a sense of integrity there.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? In my
Dear
life.
God, what happened to integrity?
My life is built on integrity.
Yeah.
That's my moral compass.
Yeah.
If I'm not integral, I'm off.
Yeah.
And for me, doing the work is integral.
Mhm.
Like, for me, coming forth and telling my truth is integral.
Right.
For me, taking the mask off and saying, you know what, even your favorite trapper has flaws and things that he has to work through is
Yes.
integral. Doing a versus battle.
That's big to do at 46 years old. And he about to say the versus battle with Gucci Mane. That was epic. That was epic. I was watching those versus battles. Shout out to A-Ball MJG. When they was on there, they did their thing. Of course, the one with Dipset. Dipset and the Locks was epic. Everybody remember that joint. And I mean, there was some R&B ones and stuff like that too. But I was just naming the rappers.
Battle in front of the world, they know who you are and what you're capable of, and you taking another approach because you want to save lives is integral. That's that disruptive, not making the favorite or the most favorable choice because you have a position to play. So when I say
it's in your purpose, right? Like when you're more in line with your purpose.
And I swear to you that more than ever,
I
understand my purpose is walking in these footprints of God's definitely.
And what is your purpose?
My purpose is to be the best version of myself and to teach my culture everything that I learned along the way. Just like I did when I was in the streets and I made music. Now that
bang, he said something real and heavy right there. He said something real and heavy right there. He said he gonna get him the game. He said, teach my culture. Like, now people may soak up game. Anyone can anyone can soak up game. You did. But when it really comes down to it, the fact that he has the wherewithal to give up game like that, because game, I mean, it depends on who you're talking to, a proprietor or not proprietor. The game is to be sold and not to be told, or the game is to be told and not to be sold. It depends on who you're talking to. I guess it depends on the circumstance nowadays, really. But the game is the game.
I'm writing books. Everything that I learned is in that book. Everything that you see me do in real life is my contribution to the blessings that I have. Showing men that we can come from where we come from and still be integral, still be solid individuals. Because I think what you're saying is we haven't seen enough examples of solid individuals.
That's right. We don't have that roadmap.
People is either one side or the other. It's like, somebody's thinking for self. We're not thinking for we, right? Somebody's either trying to, and by the way, I had to go back and dial my ego all the way back down.
That's the other thing we haven't talked about.
Right.
There's no space in any of what we're talking about for ego.
Right. And if you're living by ego, you're basically trying to either control someone or to get them to see life the way you see it.
Yes.
And I had to learn that that's not how you live life, right? And most of my ego came from fear.
Absolutely.
Right.
There's good ego.
Right.
There's good ego that allows you to do this because this is something new, right? There's good ego that allows you to be a disruptor.
Yes.
That's good ego. Because in disrupting the system, in disrupting what we're used to seeing, you're also providing a new way of doing things, right?
It's hard though.
Yes.
Whoa. Let's go back to the good sis right there. Sis. Look at her. Yeah, she's beautiful. Hey. No, for real though. She said something. She dropped some bars right there. And, I want to believe that you give credit what credit is due. Right? She stated that with Jeezy having this level of vulnerability, still maintaining integrity with his followership, to speak on whatever he's speaking on, whatever Jeezy feel you need to speak on. I can't speak for that, man. But what the good sis was basically stating is saying, like, for real though, like, you basically are showing strength within that weak space that it appeared that you're in, that vulnerable space, to be able to talk about these things. Now, with that being the case, That's why in the first video, go check out the part 1 and shout out to Voodoo Dog TV. No hatred. If this ever, get back to you, shout out to you. I love New Orleans. New Orleans. I love New Orleans. I love New Orleans. But now, for real though, with that being stated, we understand just the backlash that, he received by, dating someone who was of the culture, right? Because we don't gatekeep our culture that well. Even, shout out to Voodoo Dog. Do we gate that would be my question to her if she was to ever hear this. Do we gatekeep our culture that way? And what I mean with that is that, like, if we did, follow me now. If we did, then maybe a genie might wouldn't feel so comfortable to be on White People Network talking about like how she like, white meat keep you lean and mean, but she like a dark meat on the side and stuff like that. Like it's Thanksgiving, she got a full plate of some shit. So no hatred, and this is no male bashing either. I think it's more so like we have to address the person that we're talking about and not just responding to the person that we don't like as much. Let's jump back into it.
In disrupting the system, in disrupting what we're used to seeing,
Right.
You're also providing a new way of doing things, right?
It's hard though.
Yeah, it's hard because you're putting yourself in a position to be an example,
Right.
But you're still learning and growing.
And also you're putting yourself in a position to lose everything that you built because people can look at you and they're like, oh, we cool in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's black people. We don't shop with one another like we say we do. Especially even after the pandemic and the RIP Mr. George Floyd. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Me and my lady at the time, we all in the indeed looking for the black owned businesses and stuff like that. That's how we get down. But black people, most black people have to be entrepreneurs anyway. Whether we call it businesses or not, like you have to have an entrepreneurial spirit. Why? Because in most cases, even if you're educated, you won't be given opportunities. You either have to take them, and it takes resources to even take them, but you either have to take the opportunities or make the opportunities, right? And so, man, I learned that as a young man at 14 years old, trying to get a job. You know what? When I was a short, I'm gonna get back on topic. When I was a short, stayed in the hundreds. It used to be all these over there, 115th in Michigan. So I know it's a jewel. It may be still a jewel. It was a jewel over there when I graduated high school. So that's what we pulled up at. Everybody was chilling. Anyway, long story short, it was an Aldi, 115th in Michigan, right? Southside. I used to go up there, me and my brothers, my older brothers. I had a lot of older brothers. And we would help, people get their groceries into the car and stuff like that, just to get some money, just to hustle and get some money. Nigga, I was doing that since I was like 5, 6 years old. Right? So I jumped off the porch early. My mother was, always at work. So I understand where Jeezy is coming from with a lot of the things that he's stating, because as a young man, especially if you are in a disadvantaged circumstance, not saying that all men are, some women here are like, oh, man, no, please don't think that. No. And even the people that you may think that come from the rougher side of town and stuff like that, they may not be in a disadvantaged situation. They get, literally, it could be, diamond in the rough until they get where they're going. Like, women got to look at men appropriately. Respect is a big thing. Let's keep going.
It's just like I had to learn not to teach or to preach. I'm not this role model. I'm just saying that when you come from where we come from, it's okay to evolve, because at the end of the day, I don't want my kids to think I was just a great artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a great man. I'm a great person. I'm a great father. And I'm
That's
just
more
saying,
important than anything.
because I was saying, God, I'm a real nigga, like all that. I know you all these things. I'm all things, right?
I just said that to you, and you looked at me like I was crazy.
And I was trying to figure out what things you were saying. But I'm all the things, right?
Yeah.
Pause. Hey, look at Nia. Nia's going in.
And I'm also somebody who's failed. I'm also somebody who's lost. I'm also somebody who my life plays out in public a lot, right? And people always see the bad things. I'm always somebody who wants to do the right thing, and sometimes, right? And sometimes,
And they don't get that information either. Sometimes they get that information. It's latent information. It's something that they get down the road. Like Kyrie Irving, during the pandemic, how he was like taking money out of his bank account and like gifting it to certain WNBA players and stuff like that. That was, might have been in need and stuff like that. Like just looking out like Big Brother, like looking out type stuff. Like, My man got a wife, he got kids. He look like one of those dudes that he'll just break bread like that. Like, be cool with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, people don't see that stuff. But you can't worry about that. Even in the Bible, it say when you do your alms in secret. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give it back to you.
I've been taught to keep your mouth closed and don't tell people anything, right? Especially how you live and how you move.
Well, that's what we've all been taught.
Right. And now just opening up and having these conversations, there's a lot of times where I'm just like, wow, like, when you see people not getting the message right and you go, they just really don't understand.
As Black people, this is a beautiful.
So he's saying that basically when he's doing the right thing, people still would, curate a narrative around his good thing, around the good thing that he's doing. They may not understand it. They may not see it yet. They may have saw a glimpse and it reflected something that they, really are in their own mind. Like, and what I mean with that is they want to be you. So when they want to be you, they're going to hate you. You're in a competition. It could be someone that's in your family. It could be in a sibling group. It could be someone that, connected to you through marriage. It could even be someone that you're married to. Got to keep your eyes open. Let's keep going.
Time for us to be inspired by each other.
Right.
To be able to say we no longer have to have this experience on this planet in this small vacuum,
right,
where we are of service to the world. And when I say to the world, I mean to white pop culture.
Right.
Now there are tools and examples and people and practices in place that can inspire us in a different way. When I was 9 years old wanting to be an actress, when I was little Nia, there were like very few people I could look up to and say, oh, that's who I want to be.
Right.
We've cracked that.
Shout out to Nia. I had to pause that real quick because, we're gonna give respect over here. That's what we do. Shout out to Nia for that. She kept it rocking. And for that one reason, although she lived a life that was, like a rock star, she did it with grace. Shout out to Nia.
A little bit,
right.
A lot of it.
Right.
So now I think what you're saying is we all have the choice. We have the choice to decide when and where we're going to get the mental health support that we need, but you got to want it. And I think the stigma behind mental health, especially with Black men, is huge.
It's a weakness.
It's a weakness. And the reality is your brain is a muscle like anything else on your body. If you can go to the gym and lift weights, then you should be able to sit down with someone and exercise that muscle in between your ears and have those conversations, because those conversations are tough, but they're also really necessary.
Yeah, it's hard though, because I have people that I know look up to me that really, have been there with me through a lot of things. And I think they don't understand
where you're at
and where I'm going. It's like the disconnect is so real.
Whoa. Shout out to Jeezy home. That picture look crazy.
Almost like.
Shout out to Jeezy. Shout out to Nia. Because they working through it. You can tell that there's respect in the room. Now, when you see like a certain level of respect, it ain't got to be big man this or, excuse my language, ladies, but the baddest bitch that. It ain't got to be that sometimes. It really could just be like, oh, okay. A peep shorty. Like, not even like real aggressive. Like, sometimes, I know that's what the women, look towards, but it'd be more so like, that's not even the type of time I'm on right now, but okay. You know what I'm saying? You just peep shorty. And you can have a conversation like this. And I believe, I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not. I believe that if there's space to have these level of conversations, I mean, it's space to, maneuver through that. You know what I'm saying? And figure things out together. Just my word. I don't know.
There's only a chosen few people who understand what's really at stake.
I was talking to a guy friend of mine a while ago, and he said, Nia, and I was just complaining. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I love this person. And he said, everyone has a cap on their capacity. And if their capacity is full, you could be doing backflips, front flips. You could be the best. The sex could be amazing. All these things.
Okay, pause. All right. I hope whoever's giving her this information, she said it was a male. Got a wife and kids. She in that age where people she should know should have wife and kids and stuff like that. At least some kids that's giving her this information. Let's keep going.
Things could be amazing in that relationship. But if that person's capacity and desire to grow isn't there, then you hit that wall.
Yeah.
Then you hit that wall. Damn. So she keeps saying the wall thing a lot. Shout out Kevin Samuels. That nigga made an imprint, nigga. Look. I think that when it's being stated, though, to be perfectly honest, I think it's not to state like the wall in terms of like the, as it was stated, in regards to physical likability or dominance, sexual dominance within, the age group within you're in, right? I think it's more so, what she was stating, Nia, shout out to Nia, was more so a war within the emotional transaction, I guess, because people love that word transaction. The emotional transaction within a relationship, bang, hit a wall. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain things, and I believe, like, in the River TV video, she was stating, like, again, like, it's just, it's so much going on. Like, I don't even see you the same, like at certain moments with these grizzly hands that I got, these hands did a lot of work with, you know what I'm saying? I can't even like scoop you up and like put you in my arms, you know what I'm saying? Like you my baby girl, because I don't see you as that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Now I do that to my baby, I have a daughter, so I do that to my baby girl. She can't get away from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I'm her dad. You know what I'm saying? But when it really come down to it, like, because again, as River mentioned in the previous video, there's so much going on, then it's hard to even see you like that. You know what I'm saying? And with that being the case, there's no disrespect. It's all respect. Like I even tell my son, like, it's respect. But it's just, and I'm not saying like I'm stunned, like, Buddy may not see me like that anymore. There was a lot that went on. However, as the man, as I tell my son, you gotta do the heavy lifting. And it's not just because you're doing this for a woman or this, that, and the third. Like, my son is very aware. Like, my daughter's very aware. I get him the game. However, he has to do the heavy lifting, meaning that regardless of the level of whatever's going on around, you still have to do the heavy lifting. It's still going to be on your shoulders, and no one cares, So this is things that men who have daughters don't even understand, because how a son talks is totally, a man with daughters only like he doesn't have any natural sons that he uh, birthed, or not birthed, but you know what I mean, like inseminated a woman to birth, right? They don't have an understanding in regards to what it really takes to be a man, because they're not advising a man how to be one. They're not demonstrating a man how to be one. They can have nephews and this and the third, but no. It's something about that connectivity. It's something about that, you know what I'm saying? That real from the spiritual, you know what I'm saying? Spaces, that connectivity. And so, with that being stated, you have to give them understandings where, like, they can be like aware, like, shit ain't gonna be a piece of cake for me. It's not. Matter of fact, it might even be harder just because, And even when that's the case, you still have to feel as if, like, God damn it, I still got this stuff. But it comes from your training. You can't have any undeveloped person taking on this task. And sometimes women will put undeveloped men in positions where someone else already furrowed the ground, because that man is more suitable to their person, not their needed progression, but their personal desired progression. And so, with that being the case, isn't it just because of the trauma? I don't know. Let's jump back to the video. Let's go.
And I'm not saying that everyone that hits the wall should give up.
Right.
I'm saying that if your partner hits the wall,
Right.
and you're not quite there yet,
Right.
in your personal growth,
Right.
you have a big decision to make.
If I'm already in my partner's not, what happens?
Well, how do you know she's not?
Let's just say I knew. Like, it wasn't. What do I do? You're my sister right now.
I'm your sister.
You giving me some advice, hypothetically speaking.
Well, you don't want my advice because my advice is I'm out.
Really?
No, I don't give up easily.
Right.
I will never give up on someone I love. I don't care how high we are or how low we are.
That's how I feel about it. I love me now.
Yeah.
At this point I didn't. So I can't give up on myself.
That's choosing yourself.
Is that wrong?
No. That's the ultimate freedom. The ultimate acceptance. Who you are now, where you are.
All right. I'm gonna have to call Cap on good sister Nia. She just fed into it. Like, I think Jeezy set her up. She was on an emotional cloud. She kept going. I don't know what the fuck she's about to say right now, but it sounds off. So Nia, let's just let her get it in.
Now, and where's that picture you showed me earlier?
Oh yeah.
Of you when you were younger.
That's my guy right there. She
Oh
was
my
I
God,
talked to him on the side.
that's so
He was
cute.
kind of cute, you know what I'm saying?
Did you guys
He's
see
cute, cutie patootie, you know what I'm saying? Little gangster, but he's good.
Well, you gotta have a little gangster. It's
Right.
boring if you ain't got no
Yeah.
gangster. When you look at him now, what do you feel?
Honestly,
So we just paying attention to the conversation. Nia went into a space and then she was like, "Oh no," she deflected. I'll fuck with Nia. Let's go back a little bit just so we can catch it one more time.
Never give up on someone I love. I don't care how high we are or how low we are.
that's how I feel about it. I love me now. At
Yeah.
this point I didn't. So I can't give up on myself.
That's choosing yourself.
Is that wrong?
No.
So Jeezy, know he that was a chess move. That was a chess move. I fuck with Jeezy on that one. See, ain't no dumb niggas in the room, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess he got Nia to state, choosing himself. Is that wrong or not? And Nia went along with it because Nia, I would assume, had to make certain decisions for herself and still, having to make certain decisions for herself in that sense, right? But consequently, incidentally, what Nia just admitted to was that if Jeezy was even allowed to have that space to choose himself, you got a wife, an ex-wife, or a current wife, he has a kid. Is he even allowed to choose himself? Not saying in a selfish way, but that does sound selfish, right? I mean, because if the shoe was on the other foot, they're going to choose themselves every time. So what exactly just happened was the fact that when he stated that, and she went along with it, it does give some credence, at least the eye test of it, that was okay. I think that's why, the Voodoo Doll TV lady was kind of upset in that video. I don't know.
That's the ultimate freedom. The ultimate acceptance. Who you are now, where you are now. And where's that picture you showed me earlier?
Oh yeah.
Of you when you were younger.
That's my guy right there. She was I talked to him on the side.
All right, we're going to skip along a little bit. I think it's just a few more things we're going to get to, and then we'll wrap it up.
Tell you
Yeah.
that you embody what a well-minded, roll-ass black woman is supposed to be like. And we stand with you always. And the reason why I wanted to talk to you because you are my sister. And this is a safe space for me to say what I need to say. Because at times when we're at our lowest, we need our sisters. Just like you guys need your brothers. And that's why this conversation was so real, because I hope and I pray that this conversation can open up different conversations in our culture about being there for each other and not being at odds with each other, no matter what we've been through. And, I gotta give you your flowers. You've done an amazing job in maintaining your integrity throughout your career, right? And as a person, as a human being. And it meant the world to me to sit across from you and just tell you my story. As a man, I just hope that our women, black women in particular, can see this and give us a safe space. Really, women all the way across the board, because we as men, like, we hurt to be vulnerable to tell your partner that, right now I'm in a bad space. We going through it out here every day. You wouldn't even imagine, right? And there's no safe place for us to land. There's no safe place for us to have these conversations. We can't have it with our homies. We can't have it with our brothers and our partners, because it doesn't rest.
It doesn't translate because they don't have life experience.
Right, and they don't have that empathy there, right? Yeah. They don't have that mothering, that nurturing thing, and this is like, for me, it's real, because when you bury as many people as I have, right, or seeing people go to prison for long periods of time, or just seeing people fall to the wayside, they're all missing a certain element, and the element is to be able to have a safe space to process. Because when you're in pain and you're in odds, and I've been in pain most of my career, like, I've been the angry black man for sure.
Really?
Yeah, because I was just mad at the world, because I'm like, why do I have to keep fighting these battles? Not that I'm not a fighter, right?
No, we all are. You don't want to have to fight through it. It should be a joyful experience.
And if you do, you want to be able to at least process with that with somebody who feels your pain and understands where you're coming from. They probably can give you some insight on what they think, but it's safe. And I feel like there's no safe spaces for us. And to ask you a question, I'm going to take your homework. I'm going to go home.
Did I give you homework?
Yeah, because I hear where you're going with this. I'm going to write my list of people that I should forgive.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm going to forgive them because my sister told me that it's okay to do so.
That's right.
I hope you don't think I'm.
Hey, shout out to Jeezy. Shout out to Neil Long. On this portion of the video, we did see, of course, some information in regards to Jenny Mine. Definitely, it was not my intent to defame. I think that it's important to really look at it from every aspect, though. Hopefully, we were able to do that within this video. Hey, like, share, and subscribe. This is Lozart's frame of thought. Look.